President Biden, there's a national crisis. Game card hookers online trying to sell their pussy to make ends meet. It's a travesty, sir.
48 minutes of dogs barking. 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 Growl. Growl. 48 minutes of dogs barking. 48 minutes of dogs barking.
I was driving home the other day, and there was a Ford truck in front of me. It had a bumper sticker on it that says something real curious.
Okay.
And it's one of those things, you know, maybe you see on the internet, and you're like, I'm never going to see that in real life. But this guy, brand new truck, absolutely designed to just murder children and dogs. Like, you can't, your blind spot over the front of that hood has to be like 20 feet. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Where a
5-foot flat grill.
Yeah.
Just like, God forbid some kid like drops a Yu-Gi-Oh card in that street. He is getting murked.
Yeah.
And that guy, you won't even know because the suspension is so cushy. See his truck on the bumper, on the chrome of this bumper.
Okay.
The bumper sticker says, "Only gay cops pull me over." But my dude here in this truck, he's got like a 10-foot ladder out of the bed. It looks like he probably had like a standard 7 or 8-foot bed.
Okay.
So he's got that sticking out over the tailgate, but he ain't got like the little red flag dangling off of it. I'm like, that boy trying to get his hog worked on.
Yeah.
He's cruising.
Check the hanky code.
That dude's trying to get his dick sucked. Gay. He trying to live out that power fantasy. No, officer. You saw the bumper sticker, right? Oh, you want me to pull over to a second location? Okay.
I see.
Over here behind the bushes? Yes, sir. You see my license registration? Oh no, you're just grabbing it yourself. Okay.
Is that a nightstick in your pocket? Yeah, and so forth and so on. Yeah. Only gay. I wonder if that works.
I always feel like very weird, like hyper masculine places have some sexual subtext.
Oh yeah,
like, like I always feel like I go to the Home Depot.
They're all like hot wife guys, or they're like.
It just feels like that's where like the leathery dudes working on their porch go to wife swap. I feel like there's a big wife swapping culture. I feel like there's a big like foreign object insertion culture, like when you go like Harbor Freight or Grainger.
Yeah,
like a real fucking machine vibe at Grainger for sure.
Yeah,
because you know I look how I look. I had a job where I would have to go to Grainger to pick up parts, like, and there'd always be like these older guys over at the table, way away from where I have to go to the pickup desk, but they all kind of like look at me like over their shoulder.
Yeah,
I'm like, the motherfucker's looking at the Bad Dragon catalog.
Right. This is Turbo Team. You can't get involved in this. I've got those looks too, because looking like how I look and going to the Home Depot, these guys are clearly contractors. They're there doing whatever, and like especially for whatever reason, the guys in Windows are always doing something. And they're too busy to help,
They're watching like inflation porn on their work iPad.
They're browsing an archive of our own under the Sonic MPreg.
It's terrible.
There's 3 new ones today.
Paul Blart. Rule 34, whatever it's called.
The Force Femme Paul Blart.
Force Femme Paul Blart. Folks, it's 48 minutes of dogs barking.
It is indeed. Oh boy. So yes, welcome to the show. That's Brian. I'm Jason. Boy, oh boy, what a strange week on the internet it was. It has been a strange week on the internet since the internet was invented, but I guess that just means things continue apace, as they would say.
It don't stop doing that thing.
Do not. So one of the things that really drove me nuts this week, do you remember the dress thing? The people were going nuts about the color of the dress. Is it yellow and gold? Is it blue?
This is one of those things that made me kind of like not like the internet for a couple of years.
Right.
I was really tired of this I was tired of this dress the first time I heard about it. I almost specifically remember like that point in my life, like I don't want to check social media because I'm going to see the fucking dress. And like, it really felt like really lowest common denominator type discussion. on the internet, which is 90% lowest common denominator.
Right. So bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the barrel.
This is scraping it.
It is.
But so this guy strangled his wife.
He did indeed. So yes.
So what do you think? Did you think it was white then?
Keir Johnson, 38, pinned his wife Grace to the ground. This, according to the BBC, choking her and brandishing a knife at their home on a small Scottish island. This was 9 years ago, the dress was, according to this. So a picture of the dress worn by the mother of the bride at their wedding sparked an internet debate over the color. Now, I'm just going to go on record. It was bad white balancing. The dress is white. I'm going to be blunt there. But it became such a big deal. They went on Ellen. They got a $10,000 and a trip to Grenada. But
hello, mother. Hello, father.
That's right.
The dress is white at Camp Grenada.
Yeah, Jesus wept.
Strangled my wife. Brandished a knife.
So the High Court in Glasgow heard that Johnson had a history of abusing his wife. He told the court March 6th of 2022 he'd been drinking at a pub quiz on the Isle of Colonsay. First of all, I know it's Colonsay, but it looks like Colonsay.
Yeah, in the inner Hebrides.
Yeah,
Hebrides.
It's
Hebrides.
I think it's Hebrides.
Hebrides.
But it's spelled Hebrides, so Hebrides. So he's doing a trip at Colonsay with the Hebrides. I don't know.
I don't like this version of the Bible.
And so
is this from this must be the Scottish Bible.
Essentially, this man
beats his wife.
The wife dialed 999. Johnson, a petrol station attendant and now living at Moffat, Dumfries, and Galloway, was expected to face trial, but changed his plea and admitted to assaulting his wife to her injury and the danger of life. Through his lawyer, he applied for continued bail, but the judge remanded him in custody pending sentencing. I'm afraid, Mr. Johnson, the judge said, that your status has now changed. You've been convicted of a very serious crime, and you will be remanded in the meantime. Oh, boy. So.
Oh, wow. It just shows you just can't hit your wife anymore.
I know, because of wokeness. You just can't do it. I keep my eye out for weird trends and things that are happening, and one of the ways I do that is by reading a gentleman by the name of Max Reed and his newsletter, Read Max. So one of the things that Max Reed brought to my attention this week was a disturbing trend on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, entire social media channels with nonsense recipes clearly narrated by AI and likely written by it. The videos appear real. Here is one such recipe. Add eggs to boiling oil. Why wasn't I told this recipe before?
For this recipe, we're going to start off with 7 eggs. I'm going to be adding my eggs to very, very hot oil, carefully and slowly, just like this. Be careful. The oil is super, super hot.
It looks so good, she says.
So if, believe it or not, I was actually served one of these on YouTube.
Okay.
I like to cook.
Yeah, so do
and
I.
I'm always looking for different ways to cook certain staples, like different ways to cook eggs. Like,
oh, yeah.
And so, because I go to the gym a lot, need the protein. Also,
You need a lot of eggs. Yeah.
Eggs are good.
Eggs are just tasty.
Eggs are great. So sometimes I'll get served, like, recommended for use. They're like Asian chefs, and it's like, oh, I never thought about cooking this that way. And it's like, like a kind of a recipe that you're not going to necessarily find in most cookbooks and things like that. That's why I thought I was clicking.
Yeah.
And it was something like recipe 3 eggs and a tomato.
Okay.
And it was take a tomato, slice it, put it in a pan, or you have obviously you have your oil going and all that. And while those are cooking, you batter together 3 eggs in a bowl and salt and pepper that. And then you just pour that around the cut. Yes, 1 tomato with 3 eggs.
I had to find this video. You will be amazed with the result, right? Let's see this. A staple of the genre. Super easy and delicious omelet recipe.
But this is from a year ago.
Okay.
So maybe this is just a weird recipe.
Okay.
Because watch this, because there's a lot about this that doesn't really jive.
So far, it's pretty good. Salt, pepper, red pepper flakes.
Got the butter.
Yeah.
Butter's melting pretty quick.
And they cut away.
Pretty standard.
Pretty decent tomato, too. I mean, it's not bad.
Pretty tasty. I'd fuck it.
Yeah.
Got some tomato here. I was thinking we could fuck it.
Okay. Pan frying it. Okay.
But something about this.
Pouring the eggs over the tomato, I think, is what really is not doing it for me. It's that same fucking thing that you see people doing with, like, we're going to make a hole in the steak and we're going to put an egg in the steak. Oh, stop doing that.
I agree.
Okay, mozzarella cheese. This is like a frittata, sort of. Eggs look a little underdone. I mean, it's up to you how you like your omelet, but I mean, for me, I like them a little harder. But
yeah, and some Asian. This isn't necessarily an Asian recipe. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, the
Avatar
subtitles and the Avatar.
Yeah. But in some Asian cultures, I guess you cook your eggs a little less so.
Well, yeah, I mean, soft boiled and all that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a big thing. Yeah, so I mean,
well, there's like. I learned this one style of how they cook eggs in certain parts of China where you're just kind of just moving the egg from one side of the pan to the other, like you're creating a layer until it's fully cooked.
Yeah.
But it's still a little wet. And I remember showing this to a friend and they're like, oh, it's so gross. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Those eggs fucking slapped.
I would imagine, yeah. It probably was pretty damn good eggs. So these ones that I'm talking about, they're from like super recipes. Here's another one. Only 2 ingredients. Yes, only 2 ingredients. You will be surprised with the result. Eggs, condensed milk. Oh, that's a 3rd ingredient, Brian.
This is so weird.
And that's a 4th. There's water. Okay. This is supposed to be a recipe, by the way, for flan.
I've never made flan, so this doesn't seem accurate.
No, it doesn't. But both of them, both super recipes and super yummy. Here, once again, Max Reed. Boast over 1 million subscribers, 400 million views. The early comments on videos tend to feature a lot of people with screen names like first name, last name, number, saying normal things like watching from Melbourne, Australia, and I love bread. And I love bread. Knoxville, Tennessee, USA here. And
that's a real bread town right there. You got your ancient grains. You got your Ezekiel. You got your pumpernickel. You got your ciabatta. You got your Asiago. You got your rye, you got your sourdough, you got your honey wheat, you got your white wheat, you got your white, you got your sandwich, you got your brioche, you got your pretzel.
Pretzel.
What other pretzels are there?
Marble rye.
Yeah.
A tomato basil loaf there. Only if you got the streusel topping on top, that's my favorite one. But that's the Panera / St. Louis Bread Company one. But just the, like Yonkers, yummy. Thanks. Greetings from VA. Well, wait a minute. Yonkers, yummy. Greetings from Virginia. Wait a minute. So Max Reed goes on to ask the question: AI or just Brazilian?
That's racist.
So essentially, the Super Recipes family comes from Brazil. It could possibly be either way. So those recipe videos are always amusing to me. The boiling oil one. There's another series of recipe videos. This one brought to us by Benicio del Toro on Twitter. Here
a mutual of mine.
Oh, wonderful. At Rancor Enabler 69 is the handle there. Keep getting these rancid cooking videos where the AI voice just fails dramatically after the first few seconds. Here's one where they're pouring milk.
Pour milk over beefsteaks and be surprised by the results of this combination. That would do be see grow ab do ab do.
This is what it feels like when I'm having to run up the stairs and I'm coming in hot to the bathroom.
Kick open the door, honey. I got.
So before you finish, I gotta do a what's happening update here.
Oh man, yeah.
You got Jimmy Carter.
Oh no.
Marijuana.
Oh no.
And Brianna Wu.
Nightmare blunt rotation.
Nightmare blunt rotation. Well, if I told you I could put a peanut in my urethra?
Thank you,
Sure,
Bill.
I feel your pain because I got thumbtacks in my piss hole.
That's why he kept biting his lip, right?
Kept biting my lip. Kissinger said I had to do it for penance.
He said he'd be okay with NAFTA if I did this.
No, Jimmy, you've got to put more thumbtacks in your penis hole.
Oh.
All right, we ready for some tits?
Well, foreign relations is on the board here. A portal opened up between Dublin and New York City. Not literally, that would have been amazing. No, this is a webcam essentially on both ends, instantly transmitting. Well, maybe not instantly, but as fast as they can, transmitting video from one side to the other. Dublin and New York City, for whatever reason, were chosen as the two sites, and of course, people went stupid about it.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I saw was this video from AELANA on ye old TikTok. Passed by the portal today. This is quite literally why we can never have nice things.
So it's someone holding up their phone, says R.I.P. Pop Smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone holds up a cell phone. It's a photo of the Twin Towers.
And then people in New York start screaming.
No! Ow! What you got? I got a knife.
No! Yeah. A couple hours later, a woman was arrested. Hours after the portal opened up, it was a woman, Irish woman, drunk woman, caught grinding up against it. And then eventually it was shut down because a woman showed him off, put him on the glass, as it were, all the way to Dublin. She's given the full jiggle, too, so...
And here comes the water.
Yeah, exactly. It's the red-blooded American girl who'd do anything for $50. Well, as it turns out...
On a cam?
Yeah, exactly.
It looks just like a... I was trying to think of a webcam name off the... It looks just like an Apple product, eyesight webcam.
With leather? All right, so as it turns out, this person who did the flashing was, of course, an OnlyFans model who goes by the name of Ava Louise. She bragged about it on Instagram.
Wow. This truly is 1984.
I know, you can't even show them off anymore. She was also gained a bit of notoriety back in 2020 when she filmed herself licking an airplane toilet seat as part of the coronavirus challenge.
Wow.
Yeah. The Sun reporting here, she, according to Ava, everyone on the New York side who watched her pull the stunt thought it was, quote, really funny. I thought you would appreciate this because it's kind of a really...
Oh, this had me doing some thoughts.
See, and this is why I was like, I got it. As stupid as it is, and is like, we've kind of done this before, but it's still fucking stupid. Historic Vids on Twitter at History in Memes. So those are two different mission statements right there. Historic Vids is one, History in Memes is another. Posted this: the world you grew up in no longer exists, and it is a 30-second clip of the song Kiss Me by Sixpence Nonethe Richer, which was the unofficial theme song, not aside from I Don't Want to Wait by Paula Cole, for fucking Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
Or some rom-com.
Let's get back
into
it.
Sure.
Let's see what they took from us by the cruel march of time.
The world you grew up in no longer exists. I'm like, I don't know. This sounds like a lot of early Taylor Swift songs.
Sure. I mean, I kid you not. I think the first time, to show you how old I am, the first time I heard this song and it kind of like really hit for me was... I was at the fucking dentist's office.
Okay.
And I had a fun dentist that had a Super Nintendo kiosk in the lobby.
Okay, all right.
And either would have Super Mario World or Star Fox in it.
All right.
I think this time it actually had Aladdin. So yeah, I'm like playing with some other, like, trained off deaths, like how you do when...
Oh yeah, pass the controller style. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
and that song came on and I was kind of like, huh. This is a song. It's nice. And I still don't think it's a bad song. I actually heard it the other day. I was like, you know what? We laugh about this song but I do think it's, for as far as one-hit wonders go, like, it's inoffensive,
right?
In the sense that, like, it never overstayed its welcome.
Well, I mean, that's going to be a matter of exposure. I felt the song was kind of played out, but it's still, tune-wise, it's a brisk, breezy song. It doesn't linger in your memory for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the lyrics aren't bad, the melodies aren't bad. Like, no. It's a sweet little song.
It's very old-timey. It itself is kind of
mild 90s alt pop.
Mm-hmm.
And I did actually have a thought the other day about this song. Was like, yeah, it is unique. It feels like this has its own space, in my opinion, and of its era.
Yeah,
I don't think there has been and of course this is all relative because of like nostalgia, my lived experiences, your lived experiences, anyone else around our age or older that was around when this song or cognizant of music in time and trends or whatever when this song came out in the late 90s. I don't feel like there's been a lot that has had that impact, because like that Chappelle Roan song, Hot to Go, is a fucking bop.
Yeah,
it's not, and she's blowing up and she's selling out pretty much. I think that tour she's got right now is pretty much all sold out.
Yeah,
our venues are getting upgraded, and like she was originally booked here in St. Louis to play at the pageant, which is like a 2,800 cap. I think she has sold out St. Louis Music Park. I don't remember their capacity, but it's probably at least 6.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But like, I think some of this built-in nostalgia is coming from the fact that the songs don't have, they're not part of the monoculture anymore the same way.
Yeah, that's true.
I think everything's so part of niches. It's like, I couldn't tell you more than probably 2 or 3 Taylor Swift songs off the top of my head. I'm sure I've heard a lot of Taylor Swift, but and the same thing with like Jelly Roll, who's also very popular right now. I couldn't tell you any of it. I'm sure I've heard it, but it's not. You're not hearing it everywhere. You're not seeing ads for it for the album everywhere. The market has changed. The way we listen to music, the way we digest music has changed so much. Yeah. Yes, we cannot go back to this particular moment in which this song was presented to us in the ways that it was.
But of all the songs to be nostalgic for, I thought it was a very funny choice because, like, a lot of these return guys, these Roman statue guys, are like obsessed with macho-ness, and this is like the antithesis of that in song form. It's a very plaintive, sweet love song about wanting to be kissed by your beloved out by the bearded barley.
The bearded barley under the Milky Way, and
okay, I get it. It's a very sweet, sentimental song, but like, aren't you guys the ones like telling me to eat nothing but meat? And like,
yeah,
it's just an odd choice. I can definitely see how the song and its influence did kind of track throughout, because like, without Sixpence Nonethe Richer being a hit, I don't think there would have been a space for, say, a Lady Antebellum or an early Taylor Swift. Like, it kind of primed pop music to be more accepting of kind of a girly type of country that hadn't been pop music since maybe Jewel. You know what I mean?
Like, I can see that argument. But yes, I do agree. It is a weird, like, you think it'd be like Gangster's Paradise or something.
Yeah. Something with a little bit more, I don't know,
masculine
energy.
Might as well done the Macarena.
We went to this thing called the Big Bounce. It's the world's largest bounce house, and they were doing it. This DJ, terrible as he was doing a set, and he dropped the fucking Macarena in there, and there were people under the age of 20 doing the Macarena, and I was like, this is very strange. What is happening?
To show how old I am, I remember in music class in grade school, back when I still lived in Spanish Lake. So I was probably like in 4th or 5th grade. My music teacher, Miss Davis, showing us how to do the Macarena, and also taught us to do some sort of dance to the Train by Quad City DJs.
Oh yeah, you learned how to do the Train. Yeah,
I think it might have been yes. Yeah, Miss Davis was cool.
There's the arm pump there.
The arm pump, yes. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Well, the whole song, just like a lot of rap songs at the time, was just instructions on how to do the dance.
Jelly Roll.
Yep. Tootsie Roll.
Tootsie Roll, there we go.
Yeah. The Tootsie Roll was itself another dance when another song described. But
the Doo-Doo Brown. I don't think Doo Doo Brown was a dance. It was just
should be.
It was just a really fucking cool ass song.
The weird one that kept getting played at dances when I was of that age was, DJ Cool, and it was "Let Me Clear My Throat," the live version of it, which is a jam.
Yeah, but I haven't thought about that in forever.
No, I heard it on a random day on a Rock the Bells, the LL Cool J's station on Sirius XM. Somebody was doing some live mix, and then you just hear, God damn! Before we do the crypto scam of the week, you sent this to me. I could not get over this. It's a crypto project called Michelle Obama's Package.
MOP.
Yeah.
I thought it was the rap group.
I know.
I thought we were about to ante up.
Ante up, yeah. No, don't usually do pre-launch posts, says Sejul of Alt Crypto Gems. But saw there were some good people on board $MOP already, launching on Solana today, which was a couple days ago. Should see some good volume, so Mabby, don't wait for a good entry.
Click on that CMC link. I gotta see what this chart looks like.
Yeah, I'm very curious. That's CoinMarketCap for those of you not in the know. CMC. Michelle Obama's Package. Hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
Shit cratered.
There's a bullish tweet on the right that says MOP crazy narrative from Subway Pablo.
Uh-oh.
Crazy narrative for sure. People will buy it, grieve, and do not fade it. And this chart, guys, so it looks like its launch price, it went above its launch price for about a couple hours.
Yeah, like 3 hours.
And then it looks like it immediately rugged.
Mm-hmm.
Its 24-hour volume was only $3,313, which is a 94.87% dip.
Yep.
From the previous 24-hour.
Yeah, it capped out at about $6,000, $6,431. Not good, but that was not the scam of the week though, because that
Michelle Obama, give me back my Solana.
But yeah, the art where it's just like a bean with an afro
and a weird, like, creepy smile. There's a lot of crypto art going around right now that's just really unsettling and kind of bad in the way of I can only liken it to the stuff I was seeing Fiad back in the day that would be like Family Guy porn where, you know, Peter would be like, I am the mega fucker. It's just really like everything feels off modeled even if you don't know what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. It's just this really odd
parachuting.
Yeah, parachuting. And then on the right, wearing a pride sash and waving flag that is just MOP. It's just the name of the coin. They couldn't say Obama's package, by the way. They had to do Obama. Like Obama.
That is not my wife's penis.
But no, that is not the crypto scam of the week. Crypto scam of the week is this.
You're listening to 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking, the podcast.
And now it's time for the Crypto Scam of the Week.
Again, courtesy of the BBC, two brothers.
Just two brothers.
Two brothers.
Trying to steal crypto
who studied
from the Degens.
Two brothers who studied at one of the most prestigious universities in the U.S. have been charged with stealing $25 million in cryptocurrency in 12 seconds. So yes,
that's impressive.
Yeah. So that's Anton Peraire-Beuno and James Peraire-Beuno, 24 and 28 respectively, accused of wire fraud, money laundering. It was $25 million in Ethereum through a technologically sophisticated, cutting-edge scheme they plotted for months and executed in seconds, according to Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco. She added, the agents from the IRS played a key role in unraveling the, quote, first-of-its-kind wire fraud and money laundering scheme. Prosecutors allege the two used highly specialized skills that they learned at, quote, one of the most prestigious universities in the world. That university, yes, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, also known as MIT. U.S. Attorney.
Wow, they didn't. They could learn all of this, but they couldn't learn how to fucking cover their tracks.
Exactly right. So the details of the scam are kind of highly technical. I don't know the exact bits, but here's, according to the BBC, They stole from Ethereum traders by fraudulently gaining access to pending private transactions and then altering the transactions to obtain the cryptocurrency instead. The process, which investigators say they referred to as the exploit, took only a matter of seconds. When confronted by a representative for Ethereum, officials say the brothers declined to return the funds and took steps to launder and hide their stolen gains. Prosecutors note this is the first time that such a novel form of fraud has ever been subject to criminal charges. Each one of them faces 20 years in prison if found guilty. I find that hard to believe that they've never been subject to criminal charges. It feels like this kind of scam, not exactly the same method.
I imagine in the very specific way, because I think there might have been an MEV bot, which I still don't really understand completely how those work. Mm-hmm. But it is really interesting that 25 million in 12 seconds.
Yeah.
But you couldn't think past that.
Yeah.
God, where are they teaching these kids in school?
So I did dig into this a little bit, and by dig into this, I meant I went to the Something Awful Bitcoin thread, and the user setting sun there, God, it's even better than I could have imagined. They own a bunch of validators.
Oh, jeez, that is smart.
When notified that one of them was about to validate a transaction, they tricked a bunch of MEV bots to arbitrage on the validation, and through profiling them, knew what coins they would buy and sell to arbitrage with. Through a relay exploit, they were able to tamper with the transaction bundle the bots made and force them to buy the criminals' junk coins, which they knew to own from their profiling, and not sell it back to complete the arbitrage.
That's fucking crazy.
The next reply, wild that their scam was on an entire class of front-running bots in the Ethereum ecosystem I didn't even know existed. Scammers, scamming scammers, all the way down. That's pretty much the...
Absolutely.
That is wild. They own the validators.
God damn, boy, we're going to talk about ourselves some real internet nostalgia.
We are indeed. We're talking about...
Albino Blacksheep.
Albino Blacksheep. Would it surprise you that they're Canadian?
Wow.
Yeah, it would. Stephen Lerner, Toronto, Ontario, 1999. What's ridiculous is that on their actual website, on Albino Blacksheep, which is still a website that still exists, it is a website where people would upload Flash animations, and a couple of big memes kind of came out of there, and we'll get to that in a minute. But on the Albino Blacksheep website is an entire history that predates the website.
Wow.
So originally the idea was that Albino Blacksheep was going to be a place to host MIDI files because the aforementioned Stephen Lerner was big into composing.
Some sheet music here.
Yeah. And so, yes, Albino Blacksheep was started as a way to put these bits of music out. When I was at university in the fall of 1999, I took my first stab at designing the Albino Blacksheep website and hosted it on TerraShare. Oh, boy.
Wow.
Canadian GeoCities, essentially.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could describe it. I found myself too consumed by homework and exams to continue with it at that point. In the summer of 2000, I focused mainly on recording music while balancing my summer job. After the 2000, he started taking a course on web design, which was how we got the site as it is designed today. And they have not changed it, and it still looks very, very Web 1.0.
Oh, Bob and the Apple, what's that about?
Okay, it was a minute and a half of nothing. And I have a feeling that a lot of these videos that we're going to cover are going to elicit that same reaction. Yes, the website itself, kind of weird.
This was like not as edgy as Newgrounds, but perhaps a little bit better curated.
Yes, I definitely feel like the stuff that was on Albino Blacksheep were labors of love, people really interested in doing animation and music and just kind of being creative on the early web and using Flash, because that was the thing to do. You know, that's what you did. And you had some really interesting stuff come from it. Some of the ones that come to mind immediately are going to be things like The End of the World.
Oh, yeah. I almost wrote for the website that started this.
Yeah? Well, the animation was created by a guy named Fluid.
Okay, so here's the Earth. Chilling. Damn, that is a sweet Earth, you might say. Wrong. Alright, ruling out the ice caps melting, meteors becoming crashed into us, the ozone layer leaving, and the sun exploding, we're definitely going to blow ourselves up. Okay.
This was fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah, the peak of comedy, 2003.
I hate to say it, but I do sometimes think to my head, why would they tie it?
Oh, no, I will say, motherland, or, one of those lines from that. It's just, yes, of course.
About that time, eh?
Yeah. Okay, I will start out.
It just feels like someone doing like their Group X.
Yes,
voice.
it definitely did. It definitely did sound like Group X.
I don't want a relationship. I just want bang, bang, bang.
There were a couple other ones. The one that my son became obsessed with in this past year, even though it was created in 2005, was Neil Cicierega's The Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny. That's right. Lemon Demon, as he's known at the time. I believe he was still releasing music like this under Neil Cicierega. An entire song about how all the characters from movies and TV shows that you like are all going to get into a big fight.
Old Godzilla was hopping around Tokyo City like a big playground when suddenly Batman burst from the shade and hit Godzilla with a bat grenade. Godzilla got pissed and began to attack, but didn't expect to be blocked by Shaq, who proceeded to open up a can of Shaq Fu when Aaron Carter came out of the blue and he started beating up Shaquille O'Neal. Then they both got flattened by the Batmobile, but before he could make it back to the Batcave, Abraham Lincoln popped out of his grave and took an AK-47 out from under his hat, blew Batman away with a rat-a-tat-tat, but he ran out of bullets and he ran away because Optimus Prime came to save the day. This is the ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny. Good guys, bad guys, and explosions as far as the eye can see, and only one will survive. I wonder who it will be. This is the ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny.
This is such like an early 2000s like VST bass sound too.
Well, and the constant references to like Shaq and Aaron Carter, like they're very dated,
Optimus Prime.
Well, Optimus Prime, yeah.
And Abraham Lincoln looking like a.
You got Indiana Jones and
Batman's got a gun.
Yeah, they're all fighting Godzilla, Care Bears, Santa Claus for whatever reason.
Is that low tax? For real.
I don't know. Chuck Norris shows up because, of course, Chuck Norris facts is a big thing.
God, the humor was a little limited back then.
Every character from everything comes in. So you got characters from Lord of the Rings. You got Black Knight from Monty Python, Cowboy Curtis, RoboCop, agents from The Matrix, Power Rangers, Superman, Bill and Ted, Captain Kirk, Doc Ock, Hulk Hogan, Spock. I mean, it's all there. And of course, the whole thing ends with Mr. Rogers appearing over the deceased and committing seppuku. I don't know why Mr. Rogers would do that, but yeah.
Wow.
The ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny. Yeah, not great. That's for later. That's a special surprise you'll see there.
It's a secret trick.
Back to the Albino Blacksheep about page. The creator of the site did also animate a Flash movie titled Kristen the Bipolar Lesbian.
Jesus.
The band Tally Hall. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I am very, very familiar with Tally Hall, yeah.
Well, apparently posting their music video for Banana Man got them kind of some attention there from posting it on Albino Blacksheep.
Didn't we get Badger Mushroom?
I don't think that originated there, but I do know that Peanut Butter Jelly Time did.
It's peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Peanut butter.
You know that guy died in a police shootout or something?
Jesus, no. Hold on. What?
Yeah, the Peanut Butter Jelly Time guy got fucking murked by the cops.
He died in an 11-hour police standoff.
Oh shit! I forgot his brother-in-law was Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, Jermaine Fuller, the vocalist behind the song, got in an altercation with the police. Fuller shot a cop, and then died after a standoff. Yeah, Peanut Butter and Jelly Time was sung by Buckwheat Boys. Well, the singer was Jermaine Fuller. He shot an officer in the chest and the head. This is according to KLAQ, that's a Los Angeles radio station. After the shooting, he broke into a nearby apartment and took 2 men in the apartment hostage. The hostages escaped. He barricaded himself in the bathroom, threatening officers he would shoot if they tried to come in. At some point, he contacted local television stations and told them he had a very famous relative. This, of course, was Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
While the standoff was still happening, police confirmed Fuller's claims of having a famous relative. Vegas cops reached out to Snoop, who taped a message. In the message, he said, "It's not too late. We got lawyers that can take care of this. Do what the cops tell you." So, yeah, Jermaine Fuller was the brother of Snoop Dogg's wife, Shantae, and it was Snoop Dogg tried to talk him down. Cops entered the bathroom, where they found him dead of a single gunshot wound to the head. So apparently he offed himself.
Here's something I didn't know. The Buckwheat Boys disbanded after Jermaine's death. The world will never know if they would have had multiple sandwich-themed hits.
I can imagine that not, but, Buckwheat Boys.
Peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time.
Yeah.
With a single bullet to the skull.
Oh, no. Oh, and Gonads and Strife was the other one. A squirrel singing a song about things that made him go, wee.
Oh my God, there was this guy and he came over and he was like, wee! Oh my God, I remember my mom, she'd be like, wee! And I was so late because I went over and I said, hey, Dad, wee! Oh my God, then there was this guy and he goes, hey, I got a knife and a wee! So I went up to a sub-gangster and he was like, yo, motherfucker, wee! Yo, I saw R2D on the scene, he was like, wee! Bleep! Yo, I saw a kid in a wheelchair, he was going down the hill really fast, he was like, wee! Yo, we were watching a movie theater and this guy, he was like, oh, I got popcorn! And I was like, oh my God, wee!
Feels very much like a frog song.
Yeah,
even that man in the corner.
Yeah, well, I immediately was like, oh, yeah, Liam Lynch kind of used that same energy for United States of whatever.
Yeah.
Which itself wound up being subject of several Flash animations on not only Albino Blacksheep, but elsewhere. Lip dubs, things like that were also a big thing on the site. But yeah, I mean, it was much like You're the Man Now, Dog. It was a series of just like user-generated things. I kind of like that about the old web. I mean, you still have that on stuff like Twitter and Blue Sky and whatever. Like people will just like, here's the thing that I made. But I don't know. It felt like it was a different vibe, I guess, because sites like this and sites like You're the Man Now, Dog were like, hey, you make a thing, and we're just gonna have it on just this one site. I don't know, they're playgrounds, I guess. The kind of Newgrounds was the same way, like it's just you made a thing. Sure, here it is. We'll put it on the website.
I remember in high school and then, having a friend being like, have you heard of fucking Yatta?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh shit, no, what's that? And like, oh man, you gotta come to my house after school, man. This shit's tight. Like,
I don't remember that one.
It was a Japanese song.
Oh, okay.
Yatta, I mean, I haven't thought about Yatta in the better part of 20 years.
Slaps. A bunch of guys in their underwear with a fig leaf going, yeah.
Very much in the early days of isn't Japan so wacky?
Isn't Japan so weird?
So fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, what's
so
up?
Fucking wild.
We do still have that. There's a lot of that. Yeah, like now it's TikToks with like Japan is living in the year 3000, and
it's just like a functional public transport system.
Yeah, it's a bullet train.
Yeah,
you're like cool.
Or it's okay for like a child to walk to school by itself.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of like
so
really
weird.
There's a lot of really weird, like repressive, ultra conservative parts of Japanese culture, but it also kind of shows what happens when you reinvest into your country rather than start wars or oppress people. Not that Japan hasn't oppressed people.
No.
There's quite a few things that started happening about 100 years ago.
I was going to say, but yeah, I mean, for such a site like this that had memes come out of it I don't think it was still like a household name. It wasn't like a Newgrounds.
No.
It wasn't like a YouTube.
But it was kind of like, it was a little bit more elevated
compared
to Newgrounds. Like, because the Beyond Albino Blacksheep usually meant it was a little bit better quality.
I don't know if there's necessarily moderation or curation, but it certainly felt that way with the quality of stuff you'd see on there. Even that goofy Apple thing is like, well, it's well animated. The voice acting isn't someone screaming into a lavalier mic about how, like, I gotta have apples.
What? This apple sure is good.
There's a level of quality you come to expect, I guess, is what it all comes down to. Any other things come to mind when you think of Albino Blacksheep? Because those are the ones that immediately sprung to my mind.
Just being in high school. Just, God, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm old and dying, Jason. I am no longer...
What does it say about me? I'm older than you are.
Have you had a will made?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I do have to go meet somebody about life insurance, so I guess it is time. I guess it's time. The slow march of time comes for us all, Brian. On that note, let's look at some gross shit.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Shock.jpg.
What he's trying to do, he's trying to get that premium.
That's right. Yeah, you saw a little sneak peek there. Sorry about that. This one is a new one that we saw. It goes by it's three layers on here. So the screen cap, the caption from the thing that's being screen capped is, you know the rules. You know the rules.
The person posting the screen cap is saying, what is in the air tonight? And the person posting or responding to the quote is just girl.
The reason why they're all having a bit of a moment is this is a new shock.jpg that comes to us
fresh off the presses.
Fresh off the presses. The Twitter user concerned citizen at B Gates is a psycho. Don't want to touch that one.
Yeah.
Sorry for this one. Just when you thought you'd seen it all in clown world. Oh, Nazi shit.
Yeah.
The internet delivers. Well, is an Italian man sticking a gas pump in his rear while jacking it. The person filming interrupts him. He's just standing there. He's standing there with the gas pump in his ass.
You see someone already got a tattoo of this?
No.
Someone got a tattoo of it.
Oh, Lord.
Pedro, gas.
First of all, old guy, right?
Old guy.
Older gentleman. Second of all, got a bit of a hog on him.
Working some shit.
And second,
I'm stroking my shit. Got lotion on my shit at the gas station.
I got petrol on my shit right now.
Accessory auto.
Bicyclette. Okay, so car accessories, bicycle accessories, Bumble GPL. So yes,
is that Vito?
He's lost weight if it is.
He kept losing weight.
Oh boy. So yeah, just an older gentleman, white hair, orange ball cap. He's got his pants pulled down and a gas pump directly in his rectum.
He's just playing with the thought of it. He's not really.
He's in there.
Is he?
Roll it back. Yeah, let me. I mean, it's 12 seconds. We can afford to watch it a few more times. There. See what he pulls it out?
Okay.
It's not like he's got it under. Well, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell. 12 seconds.
Yeah, I need more. We're going to have to use Grok to figure out the real.
Because I mean, is it that he's frauding? I guess is that what that is?
I mean, you gotta think that like that's a male edge that probably doesn't dealing with like the soft flesh of the sphincter. Someone quoted this and said, the really upsetting part is he didn't wipe it off before he put it back.
Oh yeah. And then someone responding with, I thought this was a joke. Now it is clear they wrote this based on their own experience. It is the caution, do not insert in mouth or rectum on the gas pump.
I hate to give a blue checky.
I know.
Any kind of airtime, but Bilbo Baggins with...
the Bilbo Baggins is on Twitter?
J. Bank L.
Stankle
1. And I thought I was getting screwed at the pump.
Yeah. first of all, it's the middle of the day. That's the thing you also have to understand.
God,
it's not like they caught a guy
the middle of the night,
right? The quiet hour.
There's so many questions. Is this his own gas station?
Right. Oh, see, the owner. Yeah. Yeah. The way I came to this is so funny because this is how this happens nowadays. If you want to see a shock video, you'll see 1,000 posts going, I saw a guy with a gas pump up his ass. And so I go searching gas pump up ass on Twitter. Not a great thing to do, I will admit.
No, I'd probably put you on a list somewhere.
Not great. But I'm looking for this, and it's endless posts about it, not the actual video. This is why it took. So it took so long, and the original poster, I think, actually did have it taken down. Probably embarrassed by this whole situation, or at least I would be.
Now it gets reposted and gets 5.6 million views by someone whose bio is U.S. and UK-based father, conspiracy realist / coincidence analyzer, data interpreter, reject woke ideology, pronouns, fuck off, WEF, middle finger, no mRNA, stop geoengineering.
Okay, so that is a pro block on site. If you see this guy,
that's just fucking.
Well, the minute I saw Clown World, I was like, oh, okay, that's Nazi shit. But the things I do in search of the grossest things.
Fucking Italians.
You think it's just that? You think it's just like he's not horny, he's Italian. Okay, another one. Is that Donald Trump?
Folks, I tried to put it in my ass. Where are you going? My butthole's too tight.
I was practicing for jail. They said I'm going to jail.
I'm going to jail. They said I was going to have to drop the stuff. Folks, I don't want to drop the stuff.
I'm not dropping this. You Ron DeSantis will drop this up, okay? The cowardly Ron DeSantis.
Governor Abbott. He dropped the soap. He had to push him out of the wheelchair first. You know, do you think it makes Abbott... makes him really mad that he can't stand for the national anthem?
Oh, God. I'm just going to leave that one. You know what? Yeah, probably. He's probably irks him something fierce.
Irks him something fierce.
Probably sticks in his craw a bit.
All those clowns in Congress and in the government.
Oh, yes. The clowns in Congress.
The real clown world's up on Capitol Hill. Oh.
All right, I think it's time, Brian. It's time for the breath mint.
It's time for your mom's favorite part of the show. It's time for the breath mint.
Jeez. You want to go first?
Sure.
I think I really only got one thing to talk about. So if you
all right, well, I've got two, so that's fine. I'll start. I started playing a game called Tunic.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying it. It's very much a Zelda-esque isometric platformer. Well, not really a platformer, but more of an adventure game. You're a little fox and you're running around and you're
I've seen this.
Finding secrets. Great. Yeah, it's real great. But right about that same time that I started playing that, a new game dropped that I had to have, Animal Well. Have you heard about Animal? Have you heard about this? You've seen this?
Yeah, I've seen this. I've read about this. I'm J-Lo Mike Tyson.
That's right. So Billy Basso, over the course of 7 years, hand-coded this game from scratch. It is a gorgeous, this beautiful music. It's a game about you play a little bean guy, and he's going around, and he's solving puzzles and finding secrets. That's the whole game.
It's great. It looks like a lot of fun.
It is, and some of the most interesting stuff is that what I found was baffling. I was like, well, why is it that this isn't on Xbox? It's on every other platform. And then it struck me, I'm playing on the PS5 with the DualSense controller, and there's a touchpad on the top there, and I accidentally brushed my thumb on it. Mm-hmm. The grass starts swaying. Because apparently there's some touchpad specific stuff you can do to solve puzzles.
That's so cool.
That makes real good use of the DualSense for just like the sound of jumping, and then there's that very slight vibration as your character hits the ground, and then like the little pads of your fingers. It's fun. There's all sorts of tools to use and get around the map with. Very, very classic Metroidvania. Only other game I can really compare it to would probably be something like Braid or... You know, it's 2D, it's mostly platforming, not a lot of combat. There's maybe one or two actual enemies, and you have the tools to kind of either scare them away or get them out of your way. But it's very cute. It's a cute game about an animal going down a well. You can beat the main path in about 5 or 6 hours. I am on hour 16, and I'm trying to find all these eggs hidden throughout the map. The post-game is longer than the game itself, which is fascinating. You can roll credits and be done if you want to be.
Oh, this is kind of like Undertale a little bit.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, the joy is in the discovery, and that's what I think Animal Well really excels at. And boy, I've got 4 more eggs to find. 4 more to find. There's 65 eggs in the game. You can't get the 65th until you get the 64th. So I have 4 more eggs until I can get that last egg. And then there's a whole other section that you play, and all of this is optional.
Yeah,
so
but that sounds really neat.
Secrets have secrets. There's a whole section of the game. Not a whole section. There's one puzzle that is an ARG that you have to get together with like 50 other people to complete this puzzle. It's optional. It doesn't affect the game at all. But it's just fun. There's some all sorts of little fun stuff. There's a flute you can get so that you can like fast travel to places, but only once you get the flute. And the flute hits when you get like 6 eggs. So your first 6 eggs get you the fast travel. And then after that, you're off to the races, boy. There's some real tricky parts towards the end of the main bit, but then after that, you start getting better tools to kind of navigate better, and certain stuff you couldn't unlock at all before. Now you got access to whole new rooms, and it's amazing. Amazing that this guy spent so long, 7 years. I mean, it feels like a very long time. He just was able to do it, and kudos to Video Game Donkey and Big Mode, who were the publishers who got him over the finish line. Because, I mean, he was kind of just working on the game, and he submitted a packet to Donkey, and Donkey's like, oh, my God. Yes, let's do this.
Yeah.
He got it in front of the right people, and it's getting 9, 10 out of 10s all over across the board.
People are just loving it.
Yeah, and I heartily agree. It's fantastic.
I don't think an indie game, probably since Undertale, of this style has gotten so much attention.
Yeah,
obviously you have things like Hades and
Hades 2 just dropped, didn't it?
Yeah, Hades 2 just
early access.
But I've listened to some people talk about it, and I watched IGN's like review of what's released so far. No score, of course, but sounds really interesting.
Did you play the first one?
I played the fucking shit out
of it. Yeah,
it.
Same here. Amazing.
Like I still think I could be jonesing for a Hades run right about. Like if you just put me in front of it, that's the rest of the night.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's definitely got that one more run. I didn't understand roguelikes until the first time I got to Hades in Hades. I was like, oh, okay, now I see why people like these games. Now I get it.
Enter the Gungeon was probably the one.
I can't finish that. I get so far,
and then fucking hard.
It is, and bullet hells are not my. You know,
but I think that game. I stuck with that game for so long. I think I probably I probably on and off had spells with Enter the Gungeon probably over 2 or 3 years. And
that's intense. That's an intense relationship to have with the game. Yeah,
and I know people that say it's like, oh, this is their favorite game in the world, and they're still unlocking stuff. And I think Enter the Gungeon's a certain kind of hard that isn't everyone's taste. I wish there was a slightly easier variation so you could actually see the stuff and not just watch YouTubes.
Yeah, because that's what I've had to do at a certain point. I gave it about 20 hours. And I wasn't consistently getting past the 3rd level. I'm like, okay, I'm beating my head against the wall here.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
The only other roguelike that I really played to completion, in a sense, was Returnal.
I heard good things about Returnal.
Returnal, because it has... Housemarque did a fantastic job of creating a purpose for the roguelike to be like that, and narratively it makes sense, and so it's got this kind of Groundhog Day kind of thing where every time you die, it's just you're waking up again, you know.
Right.
So thematically and story wise, it couldn't have been any other kind of game but a roguelike because of the way they wrote it. So that one stuck with me, and then Hades. Those are the only 2 roguelikes I've really ever played to completion.
You haven't played Dead Cells?
again, to completion. Played Dead Cells, enjoyed it, but I kept finding myself getting stuck or, getting frustrated and then bailing on a run, or like it just, there's just something about certain ones I can't get there. It's not all roguelikes, obviously. It's a couple of them that I managed to actually, finish.
I tried
much as you can.
Spelunky and I just couldn't get into it.
See, it's not, roguelikes are so funny. They're real particular, like you gotta be zoned in. You gotta be.
But yeah, like Hades
rules.
Really just like I never could get in The Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, me neither. It's the twin stick shooter thing. I keep wanting to do Smash TV stuff, and it's like that's not the same game.
So I invited you to a show, and you couldn't go because you had to be Mr. Dad, which I understand completely.
Yeah, so it goes.
But so it goes. But I also it was a show that Dee was originally going to go with me to until her work schedule switched up.
So did you go solo or?
I went solo.
Okay.
I went to see Swans.
All by your lonesome.
All by my lonesome. And what an experience that was.
I bet.
I think Dee probably would have hated it. I think you might have been like, I gotta go.
That is entirely possible. It
was one of the loudest shows I've ever attended. Maybe the loudest.
Louder than Melt Banana.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Woo.
Swans, for those who don't know, is a post-punk group out of New York City. Started in New York City in the early 80s. Fronted by a very interesting misanthrope named Michael Gero. And
the
wildest man. He broke up the band in the late 90s, started a band called Angel of Light, and he ended that in the late aughts, started up Swans again in 2010, sounding kind of more like a like horror folk doom thing.
Yeah.
It definitely post-punk does not fit the description other than maybe some of the spirit of the approach.
Well, post-punk is so broad too. I mean, there's any number of things you could call that. So,
but this is stuff that I would put on at jobs when I was pissed off at other coworkers, but I couldn't yell at them. Oh, well, we'll just listen to the Seer for an hour. I mean,
yeah, the Seer in particular is a bit of a slog.
I think the Seer is a fucking amazing record. It is also punishing.
Yes. There were a few times when I was working at KDHX, I was DJing, and the show that was after me would be late. And so to punish their audience, I would put on one of the 11-minute tracks from the Seer and just leave the studio.
That's a fucking Chris Ward move.
Really, we'll see you later. Bye.
Yeah. But their new record, The Beggar, is really interesting. It's a little bit lighter than some of the past few releases, but still is very challenging and abrasive and moody. And I've really started to enjoy it. Really been getting into that record. So I was very happy to photograph Swans because that doesn't happen that often because Michael Gero is not a fan of photographers right now. And he's a little concerned about his image. He's not a spring chicken anymore. The man just turned 70. He does not act like it. It sounds weird. This is a man who's acting like he's still 50. But when I read that he was 70, I'm like, it's just none of this lines up from the guy I see on stage.
Oh, it's like every time I see Rob Pollard of Guided by Voices, it's the same thing. I'm like, this guy's not older than 40.
Yeah, just like the spirit of the individual and how they hold themselves. But it was one of the things about Swans is that very rarely do they really tour behind the material that they just released. You might see or you might have a song or two from the record performed and maybe an old song or two, but mostly it's going to be stuff that's going to end up on the next record.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they're playing out the new material kind of like a comedian.
Yeah, the first half of this tour, they apparently played a lot of stuff from the record. but now they're moving on to new material. So the only thing off of The Beggar was the titular song, which was the first track, and then it was Hanging Man, which is off of To Be Kind, which I haven't spent a lot of time with, but I like that record too. And then it went into all new materials. Really, so The Beggar and To Be the thing about Swans, it's really fucking loud, and they take their compositions and they fucking play them to the max.
Yeah.
You are a 5-minute song might be extrapolated into 20 minutes, and there's lots of, I mean, you're really getting into a trance like vibe. I the first time I saw Swans, I told Michael Gero himself that I felt like it was almost like a spiritual experience, and he kind of just gave me a weird smile, like yeah, I hear that.
Hear it all the time, yeah.
But so I only had my requirements. What was asked of me as a photographer was I wasn't up front and center, and I had the first 30 minutes. So
first 30 minutes is pretty good, although that's probably the equivalent of 3 songs for this bit.
Well, the Hanging Man wasn't even done. I think the Hanging Man, I kid you the fuck not, probably had another 20 minutes.
Oh, no.
30 minutes didn't work out so great because there was no photo pit, which is fine, but it was a very, very, I think it was over 600 people. I think that's what Bert told me. Over 600 people, which is great. That's the most people Swans have ever played in front of in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And it was a fucking great crowd. And honestly, like, when I have to shoot in a situation like that, particularly at Del Mar Hall, and people see me walk around with my fucking 2 camera bodies and my camera bag, they don't fucking move for shit.
No.
But this show, people like saw me coming, were moving out of the way. I'm like, God, this is nice. What lovely people.
Yeah.
What lovely people that have come here to ruin their hearing.
Yeah. Because I know not a one of them was wearing ear protection.
There was quite a few people. I mean, I had borrowed my girlfriend's
that's right.
gun range muffs, which were bright pink. Yeah. I'm like, oh, Michael Gero's going to love this. Turns out pink is one of his favorite colors, so maybe that did work out. There's the muffs come back into play later on in this story, but I'm about done with my 30 minutes. I am stage left, and I am able to go up to the middle level of the venue and loop back around without too much difficulty. But still, I'm having to stop and like try and move around through people, and like it's super loud. And also, this is music that really demands your attention to be present. And I do not want to take away from anyone's enjoyment of this because Swans haven't played St. Louis in almost 10 years. It's been 12 years since I've seen Swans live. And like I said, Michael Gero is 70 years old. I wish nothing ever terrible to go happen with his health, but I don't know if I could, Swans will be around for me to see in another 12 years. So I don't want to be a distraction.
No.
And so I'm trying to get my shots. There is a photo I took. I was standing behind the crowd in the very back of the dance floor, and I'm just kind of waiting for moments where there's some movement, and Michael Gero is almost acting like a maestro, and he's giving lots of hand signals, and he's kind of waving in time. And some of it I think is just him like just expressing himself and freaking out, and some of it I do think is like signals to the band. Some of the stuff I was kind of able to pick up on, the other stuff not so much. But I had raised my camera above the crowd, so I have my arm fully extended, and I have the back LCD screen of my Fuji camera pointed down at me, and I'm just kind of like using the other hand to hold the strap steady, and I'm taking photos of him, and I'm using a lens that's 135 millimeter equivalent, so I got some nice compression, nice separation of the background from the subject and all that. But it's a nice one shot. The thing is, there's a couple frames where he is looking at my camera, and I am fucking terrified.
Right down the barrel.
Yeah. God. Because this isn't like the photo of Homeboy from Postal Service. This isn't like Ben Gibbons, or whatever his name is. Gibbard, sorry. Ben Gibbard, and being like, no, Ben Gibbard, what are you doing, Mr. Ben Gibbard?
Yeah. Stupid, sexy Ben Gibbard.
Stupid, sexy Ben Gibbard.
This pop music makes me feel like I'm wearing nothing at all. Anyway,
but like if I had realized in that moment that he was looking at my camera lens, because I gotta imagine he's looking at the crowd and there's an arm with a camera. I'm the only person photographing, and there's like I forget the young lady that plays in the band. I forget her name off the top of my head because I kept thinking she was actually the woman that co-founded Swans with Gero back in the day. But I think she only does studio stuff. I don't think she does tour. I think, but I even got a couple of photos of her looking at my camera lens and just giving me like the stink face. And I'm like, thanks, lady. But I get around the stage right. Like I make a big horseshoe, and I got about 5 minutes before my time is up, and I'm just kind of making some photos. And I'm over by the wall, kind of like the door to the backstage area, and this lady is standing up against the stage, and her legs go out from under her like a invisible dog with a leash attached to it. Just took her legs out, just fucking gone.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, it was like someone tackled her, like an invisible ghost. And she gets up pretty quick. She's fine, but she looks a little shaken. And her and the people she's with, they take her behind me. Then I notice that there's this couple to the right of me, and they're like about my age. The young lady is hugging her boyfriend with her back to the stage, and they're like slowly swaying, and he's got a hand like around the back of her head, like you would comfort someone after like they just got out of like a terrible car accident.
Oh my.
Like, yeah. And then on and off for about 30 seconds, I start having a sensation like someone is slowly and delicately cutting my face with a straight razor. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? And that's how just like intense this music is.
Wow.
They're done with the hanging man. You know, he gets a drink of water. Everyone's kind of tuning up real quick. And I can't remember if it's this time or the next time, but I think actually they played Away, which is a new song. And it's honestly like a very pretty song. The bass player, whose name escapes me right now, had this instrument that sounded like a hammered dulcimer, but didn't look like any hammered dulcimer I've ever seen. It looked like it had like a piano roll on it, like a keyboard that you had like little keys that you play down, and that would strike the note.
Okay.
So maybe that's some sort of modernized hammered dulcimer that I don't know like the proper name for. But he's playing this really beautiful bit, and Michael Gero's got these lyrics that are just like, they're really clear because this is such a quiet song compared to the last 90 or so minutes. It's still like grinding your face into the fucking asphalt, but comparatively, this is just the contrast, the balance that this strikes is so heavy. And that song ends, and he goes to get another sip of water, and he's got his arms out to signal the band to start up again. And he stops. He looks at these folks right in front of him, and they're younger. These are probably people like in their early 20s at oldest. And he's like, "Can you not text while I'm performing?"
Oh, no.
You know how when you're talking to someone and they're on their phone and they're texting, how rude it is? Well, I'm up here singing for you, and you're texting, and and please don't take too many photos of me. I don't like my face, But he's like kind of ending it with like a little bit of a chuckle, like, it's just.
Yeah.
And I think that is a big thing for Michael Gero, and my time interacting with him and hearing other people's things, is he really just wants you to be fucking present. Doesn't want you to be distracted, because this is very serious music to him. And I think his opinion is that you shouldn't just be treating me like this. Anytime you should go to a show or a performance, you should be there.
Present.
Stop fucking off.
Yeah.
Be here. You paid for this. I hope you would appreciate what we're doing here.
Yeah, you came to have an experience. Let's have an experience together.
And, of course, Michael Gero is kind of a hothead. And so when he started talking to these folks, I thought this was going to be like a profanity-laden rant, fuck you, get the fuck out of my show or something like that. Because there's unfortunately lots of clips of him,
right,
like yelling like that, people for being on their phone or taking too many photos or something like that. And it was really weird. It was like, wow, he seems like he's actually in a good mood. And I say all these things that he's an asshole and all that, but also my experience with Michael Gero can also be a pretty appreciative and kind of a generous person. Like, it is totally in his capacity to be pleasant in this moment, or less of an asshole than he might have been at other times. I had lunch with Bert today. I brought that up to him. He didn't stay for that show, but he's like, oh, I think he's sober now. And he's like, yeah, my interactions with him before the show were all pretty positive. This is a guy that has given Bert a bit of a hard time in the past. So he's like, yeah, it was actually kind of nice that he just was, he's just a little bit intense instead of like wanting to make me cry or something. But then it went into another song called Red Yellow, which is a little bit more intense. And then it went into a song called Birthing, which is like Swans the Experience.
Okay.
Because there's weird baby samples, which I think is his son, which bleeds into Red Yellow or Red Blue or Blue Yellow, whatever it's called, into Birthing. It's really fucking loud, but then it has these really pretty, beautiful moments. It is Red Yellow.
Yeah.
These really beautiful moments, and it gets really fucking loud again. The lyrics are super interesting. I mean, it's all shit that feels like, there should be the demons that are outside of the flame of your campfire, the illumination of your campfire at night. It's really stuff that feeds into the darkness of your imagination. And it was over. He said thank you, and he asked for the lights to go up. And so the lights over the crowd went up, and he got a good look at people, and he just seemed really pleased with himself, which was a nice moment, because this was a guy who's, again, 70 fucking years old, fucking slapping himself in the face, screaming, just really giving a lot of himself to this room. And to see that energy be returned so much by the crowd was really fucking nice. It was like the crowd's turn to be loud.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll be back signing stuff, in about 20 or so minutes. And I ran into a local man about town, Jim Utz.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a bag on him that had, I think, every single Swans record on vinyl, like even the stuff that's really super rare from my understanding. So we get in this line after we're talking for a little bit, and he gets up there and he's got all of these records, and he's talking to Gera, and he's like, I'm really sorry to have all of these, but like I have them all here. My wife brought them up. And he just smiles at Jim. And he goes, one time I had to sign like 3,500 LPs in a day. So I think I'm okay. and then I come up to him and I'm like, I don't know the fucking have signs. I just take the fucking muffs off my camera bag. And I'm like, these are my girlfriends. She couldn't make it. I think she would really like it if you signed these. And he gives me a weird look and he signs them. And he's like, yeah, thank you. I'm like, no, man, thank you. And I'm like, my girlfriend's gonna be so mad.
Yeah.
Hey babe, I got your shooting range earmuff signed by the spooky monster man. No, not Rob Zombie.
No,
the other
one.
Spooky
the
monster man. The guy in the cowboy hat. No, not Rob Zombie.
No, other one. You got to be more specific. The 70-year-old one. No, not Rob Zombie.
Not Rob Zombie. Yeah, yeah, that was just a really interesting experience. And then 2 nights from now, I'm photographing AJJ, who are opening up for Say Anything at Ye Old Pagente.
What a combo.
Yeah, I've seen, I did load in for Say Anything once. Their crew's really nice. I'm sure it's not 100% the same people, but I remember the guys in the band being really professional, which is, God, that's worth so much in that industry. It's like, if you can just be like basic polite, like everyone working a show is gonna love you if you can just be
especially if you're touring. I understand that like shit's gonna go wrong and have a bad day or whatever, but just like fake it for like 10 minutes and like be nice for a second.
In the words of Thor, who used to play, not Thor Jensen, but Thor, the musician Thor, actually wrote a thing that went viral in like 2011 about like the realities of touring. Like you don't think that because this is your job, you're not allowed to have a bad day. But just don't take it out on people.
Well, yeah. Martin Atkins, Big Face Pill, Public Image Limited, and any number of other things in the book Band Smart. I think he actually included that bit from Thor as a thing in the book. And Tour Smart and Book Smart or Band Smart, are both probably the definitive texts about like being in a band and doing those sorts of things. And like, it costs nothing to not be a prick.
Oh yeah. In my capacity, like in the industry, like if you're pleasant to me, I'll fucking do anything.
Yeah, it goes a long way.
Yeah, because like, well, I'm here to help you.
Right.
Don't treat me like an asshole. Yes, I'll go take your tour manager to go fill her prescription at the Schnucks down the street.
I'll go get you pappies, whatever it is that you want.
Like if you're pleasant, you don't even have to like tip me or like sign anything for me. Just be decent.
Right. It doesn't take much.
But yeah, that's another sold out show. I think Decemberist, which is tomorrow night, might be sold out.
Decemberist is, yes.
Yeah.
That was another one I was trying to get for my wife as a gift before settling on Death Cab.
I think you might have got the better show.
I probably did, yeah. I mean, she's a big Decemberist fan. So.
Sure.
But I'm a bigger fan of the other two, so I was like, this is a win for all of us.
Bert was telling me today, because I was telling him about, I'm not like the biggest fan of Death Cab or the Postal Service, but that was a really fucking fun show. And he's like, dude, you know what the crazy thing is? Like, they're touring fucking smart. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? He's like, they only got 3 trailers and like a tour bus.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, when you're doing tours like that, usually like in rooms and like stadiums and stuff, even if they're smaller ones, that's usually like 5 to like 12 trailers. They made a real effective use of a minimal presentation. They had really good light setup. Like everything was real tight.
Well, because, you're sharing some band members, you don't have to have as many, don't have to have as much setup. Same drum kit. We can use the same drum kit every night. That's a built-in thing of all knowing each other and kind of, being.
Oh, yeah. From a fiscal standpoint, I'm sure it's fucking doing gangbusters. But
also, touring smart. Absolutely.
Touring smart. Well, Los Campesinos.
Yeah.
They're on a little tour of the United States, and they're like on social media kind of like begging people to come out because it's like, well, we can't slum it like we used to when we were because they're a British band, like we used to when we toured the States, because like we got kids now, we're bringing the kids with us, and like a tour bus, like it costs like $50,000 to rent one a week.
Yeah,
so that's already eating.
So they're already Well, Los Camp, I was so pissed because it was Los Campesinos and Johnny Foreigner who have,
I still think I have the Johnny Foreigner shirt somewhere,
who have not toured the States since. Still pissed about it.
It was a really good show. Did you go to the Plush show?
No.
I knew someone that ran into the singer in the stairwell, and Plush was such a weird, fucked up venue. And he ran into him in like a stairwell, and he was like, "Oh, hey, I'm so glad to see you guys tonight. Dude, that show at the Fiber was so cool." And the singer just apparently responded with like, "This place is a whole lot different."
Yeah, well, yeah.
And I'm sure I've told the story in here before about the time I did in studio KHX with a band. I can't remember who they were, but they were really fucking good. But they were playing at Plush, and they were like a fucking indie band. Like I don't think ever really had been to the market before. And I'm like, "Well, you guys are playing Plush your first time? It's pretty crazy." And they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" I'm like, "It's like a fucking 600 cap." And like they all go fucking pale.
Was that Girl in a Coma?
No.
That was at that show.
No, they were a band that was associated with like a Place to Bury Strangers and like Death by Audio. I can't remember. I think they practiced at Death by Audio.
Oh, okay.
They had a bunch of like DBA gear, and like they were really cool guys. They're like, "Oh God, we thought it was a smaller room because their website was so bad."
Oh,
and I'm like, "You guys really should have played the Firebird." And like, we looked at their website, and their website was so nice. We're like, "That room's probably too big for us."
Oh
and
man,
I'm like, I'm not sure how these wires got crossed, but for the folks at home, Plush was a venue that had a website that was so Web 1.0 bad that there were like people who were like working for like the best web design companies in St. Louis were like, I will personally redesign the website for free as a passion project. I think like Atomic Dust or something even like offered, and for like
it was
free.
Either them or Spark. I can't remember.
Yeah, but they're like, "We will redesign this terrible website for free." And I think the owner, she was just like, no.
Foolish behavior.
I'm trying to think what else is going on as I scream into the beer can.
I've got one. If you
go for it. Go fucking hog wild.
So we finished Resident Alien season 3. They do the half season thing now, so we're at the halfway point of season 3. That's fine, but I was very, very looking forward to the 3-body problem. I am now most of the way through the 3-body problem, and I can verify that it is a great adaptation. There are some odd choices that they made in adapting it. Originally in the book, the 5 scientists that become our main characters in this first of the 3 books were strangers. In the television adaptation that Netflix has, they made them know each other, which, okay, it's fine.
Sure.
It's not really that big a deal. It doesn't change the plot all that much. It just means that their relationships are a bit more defined, which kind of helps if you're coming into a show with no context. Like, my wife had never read the book. She didn't know anything about it. Thank you. Every once in a while, you got to throw it in there. As an adaptation goes, I think it hits all the important points. It has the scenes from the book that always grabbed me, which is especially the opening, early to mid 60s. I can't remember if it's 67 or 68. During the Cultural Revolution in China, this woman's father is beaten to death in a struggle session for refusing to teach the theory of relativity because it was developed in the West. And so he says, no, it's a founding principle of physics. The wife sells him out, and he is whipped with a belt and dies on stage. That's the opening of the show. It's also the opening of the book. The inciting incident, which kicks off an entire chain of events that leads to some real deep sci-fi conundrums.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. They've got not Charles Dance, but a reasonable substitute. The guy who played the guy with the missing fingers in Game of Thrones, because it is the
guy who played Davos Seaworth.
Davos Seaworth, thank you. Yes, the guy who played Davos Seaworth in Game of Thrones is in there as a mysterious figure who kind of brings all these people together. It's visually very exciting. The director and all the crew there are really doing good work. And they use the volume in an interesting way. I see the squinting of the eyes. I know you have a problem with the volume, and I do too, because there is a certain unreality feeling when you see something that was shot that way. But in this show, they're using it to show you how unreal this is.
Sure.
So they're using it to amplify this idea that what you're seeing is a simulation. It's like, okay, this is definitely a way you can exaggerate and use the qualities that the volume already has to kind of clue your audience in that this isn't real or that type of thing. So I thought, okay, if you're going to use it, you might as well use it this way. The main crux of it. Have you read the third 3-body poem?
I have not. I know I should.
The crux of it is the whole thing, why they're using the volume, is because there is an advanced VR game that these scientists are given, and the idea is that if you solve this game, you'll be inducted into a secret society of people who know the truth about the universe, right? And so everyone who comes into the game comes into it with their own cultural baggage, and so the setting of the game changes. So if someone who was born and raised in China plays it, they're going to get a bit of Chinese history, and then this British guy puts it on, and he's getting British history.
Right.
So it's an interesting concept. They're definitely giving you the visual language to kind of parse this on your own. Boy, there is a sequence in about the 6th episode where advanced technology commits mass murder, and it is like nothing I've seen on television. It is truly stunning, and it's grotesque, and they pull no fucking punches. And I'm like, okay, I was not expecting this, but all right. So if you've got an eye for interesting science fiction, or, if you're just kind of like a mystery show, it's got both of those things going on it.
I like that.
And a lot of the science, just straight out of the book is relatively realistic. There's a few leaps in logic here. You have to kind of leave some of that at the door. But, if it follows in a very old school hard sci-fi tradition of like, we're going to use technology that we understand now to explain what this future/alien thing is, and kind of it's grounded in reality, and I really like that. It has in episode 6 the same episode where this great visual thing happens. There's also the single worst fucking needle drop in a television show. This guy is getting ready to die. He's slowly dying, and so he decides he's going to go donate his money and his time to this organization that's like, oh yeah, we're all about bringing peace to outer space. And he's walking outside of this place, and then you just hear Lana Del Rey's fucking video games going.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm like, of all the songs you can use for this moment, you chose that one? So if I can forgive a show for that, it's pretty good.
Damn, that's some good old-fashioned TV, folks.
But yeah, Netflix has it out. It's about eight episodes, about an hour apiece. It shouldn't take too long.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're going to get to the second book faster, because it feels like they stretched out a little bit in this first season. I'm hoping once, and this is going to mean nothing to you until you see the show, but I'm hoping once the wall facers are introduced, you kind of get this.
Are they guys that face the wall?
Yes.
Do they hit the wall? Do they turn 30 as a woman?
No, I think a lot of these people are in their 20s, so I don't think they're going to do that. But,
okay.
But the way the books are there's these huge time jumps, like hundreds of years in between the books. And so the first season cast isn't coming back because they're not going to be around anymore.
They're dead.
Yeah.
They got AIDS from the flower.
Yeah, sadly.
Sadly, they got enriched flower AIDS.
The space AIDS.
Oh no, they came back from Mars with more than just some samples.
Q-tip ain't gonna solve that, brother.
Don't bring your toothbrush.
Exactly. That's all I've got, though.
Those news is fit to print.
Yeah, that's what I've got. That's occupying my brain. Do you have anything else?
I'm good, man. Let's put this baby to bed and go play EverQuest for 12 hours.
Well, that about does it for the program. My name is Jason. This is Brian. Here's where to find us online, Brian.
If you think it's really cool to neglect children because you want to get that rare drop, you can... I need these pants. My dwarf.
He's naked without them.
He needs 20% resistance to loud yelling.
Well, if you want to tell them where to find...
Yeah, sure. If you want to find me on the internet, I'm iShotGuidyBoard, ISHOTGUIDBORD on Twitter, and that's really the main spot, and Blue Sky. Otherwise, you can find me on Instagram as a music photographer, and if you want to check out some photos I've made, you can check out my portfolio at assholemusicphotographer.com. You want to check out some words and
Woo-hoo.
and photos. Words and words and photos.
So many words.
You can go to musicphotographer.com. You can go over also to theartsstl.com, which is the last good media website in St. Louis, perhaps even the Midwest, for lots of good, juicy content for your peepers. And then I think probably by the time this is up, my Swans piece should be up. I'm almost done with that. And the Death Cab for Cutie stuff should be up because Mr. Jason Green, the editor-in-chief of the Arts STL, wrote that one.
Excellent.
But he's got like a wife and kids and all that stuff, so I get it. Trying to think what else. I think that's it, Jason. Where can they tell you that it's okay to pray away the gay?
Please don't do that. But if you want to tell me anything else that you're interested in, compliments, complaints, recipes for cake, please do that thing. I am Video Crime on most places, VIDEOCRIME. That's Twitter, Blue Sky, any place that there's a Video Crime. That's going to be me, with the notable exceptions of TikTok and Instagram. There, I am a Laser Goose CEO. That's laser with an S, by the way. You can also find me as part of the cast on Submitted for the Approval of the Midnight Pals, where I play a fictionalized version of Stephen King. We are crowdfunding for season 2. So search us up on Indiegogo. We just cracked 1,000 of our 6,000 goals, so hopefully we'll be getting the cast paid to act this time around, as opposed to just doing it for free. You can find us directly via telephone, if you like, 314-246-9766. That's 314-AHOY POO if you like to spell with your telephone. shoot us a text or you can shoot us an email.
If you're a Haitian woman that wants to misdial the number and then forget to hang up and then yell at your daughter for 20 minutes like the voicemail I got the other day, please give us a call.
Just know that your voicemail may be used in a future episode. Okay, so also shoot us an email, Jason at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com, Brian with a Y at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com. Send the man your worst recipe videos you've ever seen.
Oh no! Is this what they fed Daniel Pearl?
Oh no! Oh boy! You can also find.
I can't. By the power of AI, I can finally know what it would have been like to show Daniel Pearl how to use a dab rig.
Wow, that looks great. I wish
we didn't have one of these in Afghanistan. I sure would have had more fun. All they had was this dry ass hash.
Okay, Daniel, this isn't fun anymore. And then
I want Amelia Earhart speaking in patois. Oi, man, the plane go down over there.
The plane go down, my boy. Yeah.
What? It was not Irie, man.
No, it most certainly was not Irie. Support the show, patreon.com/48minutesofdogs. We do have a weekly outtake show called Thanks, I Hate It.
Yeah.
A new one will be up on Friday.
Yep.
Pretty good.
The psyche of a madman.
More than the rest of the show normally is, yes.
Yeah, so go to Patreon.
Yep.
And give us your fucking money.
Yep. Or if you get the $10 level, if we get 10 users on there, we are going to do
watch gross pornographies.
90 minutes.
Again, I'm going to reiterate, there are so many people I know that absolutely would spend $10.
Yeah, to make you suffer.
Yeah, and I'm ashamed they're not showing out.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like
they love to hide behind their keyboards for everything else, but you can't for this.
Can't pony up, huh? Anyway, if we get 10 people at the $10 level at the patreon.com/48minutesdogs, we are going to watch a 90-minute puke fetish video called Gero Monster Home Delivery and record a very special commentary track for you. Now, granted, that commentary track may consist mostly of the retching sounds that we're making as we're watching this, but you'll never know unless you do it. Well, as we always say at this time, namaste, good luck, eat the knife, give mommy a good gut fucking
Bo
day.
Ga.